Hello everyone, hope we're all good. Thanks for all your comments, whether they're positive or negative, and I've seen a few negative comments. Billy, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel with this one lad. Scraping what barrel? I don't own a barrel. I don't scrape bottoms of barrels to get podcasts. Come on. Look at what it says on my YouTube channel in the About section. It says real people, real stories. It might not be your cup of tea. And not everyone's my cup of tea. I get it. I understand it. And everyone's welcome to their opinion, but I believe it's about giving people a chance. Someone gave me a chance. Someone gave me a chance, put a little bit of faith in me, and it gave me an opportunity to change and realise, when people say, you're all right, Bill. I didn't believe them. I thought, yeah, all right. Especially if it was a fella. If you said to me, Bill, you sound you were like you, I think, yeah, he's gay and he fancies me. What's his agenda? What's his motive? If it was a bird who said it, I didn't mind. I didn't. Well, she likes me. She loves me. She wants to be with me. Again, always having wedding bells kicking off in my head. Yeah, so whether, the comments are negative or positive, which 99.9% of my audience who respond to videos to come across in a positive way. So I appreciate that, and I really am grateful for all your subscriptions. Aki, he's on ice. Long story. Don't really want to go into it. I had a few people say you were out of order putting the streets up and this, that and the other. Really? I'm not even going to comment on that one. I'm going to leave that up to the people out there to comment, because the reality is, when you're 16 and you've got a deep-rooted resentment of someone banging on your front door, your house, your mum's, wanting you to come out. Really, mate? Really? Do you think I'm out of order for walking up a street, not knowing exactly where he lives, not even sure if it's that street, just the information that's provided? And that's what we do. We get information and we provide it to the public. Simple as that. But yeah, Aki's on ice. Moving on from him. A few little stories. I was speaking to me auntie the other day, and this is a mad story, and I mentioned it to my partner, and she went, "Oh, yeah, whatever." What kind of life have you lived? What kind of people have you got round you? Now, years ago, I've got this uncle who's married into the family from Israel, and the Russians took him out. They put a hit on him, and it was all over the papers. But I remember him, when we were kids and we lived in Speak, and he moved in with me auntie, and he was quite flash, had a few quid. He was foreign, didn't speak English like we did, because we're Scousers, and when you hear someone talk like that, you just go, definitely different. But yeah, moving forward, he was involved in a lot of underground, dealings with, moody characters, especially Russians. He was a heavy gambler as well, and he'd be missing for months, and he'd come back with, a budget van. Once turns up with me Mars in a budget van full of CS gas and caviar down the South End. Turned up on Chatsworth Estate in Liverpool with all this grip, wanting to asking me, did I know anyone? I got to an age, I was about 17, 18, and and I knew Simon Takeoff, his name is. Simon was a moody cat. He was a wheeler and dealer. He was like a bit of an Arthur Daly, that kind of character. He was likeable, but he was just, you couldn't trust him. And I knew him for years, and we were in and out of each other's lives, especially because my auntie, I love the bones of her, and I still do, and I spoke to her the other day, and my cousin, we were quite close. He's got the same name as me, Billy, and we was quite envious of him growing up, because he was like an only child at the time, and he got everything. We used to go round to his house, and he'd be sitting there, and he'd be opening all kinds of Boss presents on Crimbo, and we were like, just got like one of those plazzy action men with a parachute. The best thing, my mum could get us at the time. or rubber weights or something, you know, or a bike that was like second hand, but he had you know, he had the best stuff in that, Billy. And I knew, because, you know, his ma really, like, doted on him, and Simon, like, had a few quid, you know, kept winning and doing what he was doing. However, he got involved in the background. I was, you know, years on, I've moved on with my life, and I've ended up in, you know, in the grip of addiction, and lived under a concrete slab. Didn't know what was going on in the world. And in 2004, it was like I was in Preston prison, and it was time to change your life. Opens the paper, and there's our Simon in the paper, picture of him, these two fellas, Russians, opposite him, and it said Russian Mafia take out Israeli drug dealer. And I read the article, and it was talking about how they took him, you know, they phoned him up. He owned you know, apparently he owed over £200,000 in gambling debts, and he was on the run from prison in Israel. He'd escaped from jail. It was a day release, and he never went back. Fled the country, had a few foreign passports. Was getting in debt again for gambling. Owed this fella a few quid. He was actually the best man at his wedding, you know, and the fellas phoned him up and said, look, I'll give you a chance, come down. Now, this is a story, Billy mentioned this now. The Russians who were casing our Simon knew Billy and Simon very well, and he liked our Billy, because our Billy's a lovely kid. He's a very likeable character. Him and his man and the family, they're just amazing. And you know, Simon said to Billy, come with me, I need to go and meet these kids, and, you know, they like you, you won't do nothing when you're there. You know, he's got to go and sit down and negotiate when he's going to pay this toll. And Billy went with him this time. Went in an hotel. He said it was something like out of a James Bond scene. He said there was a bird there, big boss looking bird, Slavic looking, high cheekbones, you know, and under the pillow she had an Uzi. And Billy could understand a little bit of Russian, because he'd been around, you know, Simon ever since he was about 7 years old. Billy must have been about, what, you know, his early 20s at this time. So he understood a little bit of Russian, and he understood that they were saying, you know, let's take him out now, let's just do him. And the other one saying, no, don't, because, you know, we like Billy sound, you know, let's not do nothing. And, you know, they give him a buy this time. The next time they contacted Sam, and they wanted him to meet him at the Marble Arch Hotel in the, you know, in the Marriott in Marble Arch. He's got there about 9 o'clock in the morning. This year, the best man, the former best man who he owes the money to, that he needs to negotiate this debt he owes him back, this £200,000, meets him at the hotel. You know, has a little bit of a bevy with him in the bar, a coffee, goes upstairs. I don't know what's happened in the room. From the reports, he was, you know, they'd taped his legs and arms together and suffocated him, two of them. Stripped all his clothes, put it in a bag, got off. You know, the room was booked in Simon's name. It was all false. Everything was, you know, moody. No one had any identification of who these culprits were at the time. But the mistake they made was when they were leaving and getting, because they come over. This is what happened, right? They travelled over from Belgium, got to Dover, coming over for the day. They were going to do the hit on him, and then they were back home again. So they were going back to heading towards the boat. This kid's dumped this bag. He had a pair of yellow marigolds on, right? And by chance, some fella washing his car, seeing this happen, phone the police after he's checked the bag, seeing his blood-stained clothes, a plastic key card to the Marriott Hotel. The police have come, went to the Marriott Hotel and found Simon in the bath, taped up, dead, asphyxiated, suffocated, yeah, can't say it more, asphyxiated. I feel like Russell Brand here trying to make up a word. Yeah, so yeah, they found him and he was dead, and they nicked. They arrested these two hitmen the same day in Belgium. Got arrested and ended up getting life. One of them's just who died recently, but, you know, this is the, you say someone to that, you know, your family's had Israeli and Russian Mafia hits put on them, you think, how bizarre is that, Bill? You know, you can't be inventing these stories, but, you know, they're all true, you know. Someone said the other day, oh, you're inventing stories about Aki Loch, mate. Bullshit. If you know, you know. Yeah. About Sandy G. Yeah, all right. If you know, you know. I was there. Right. Don't need to glamorise anything. Yeah. Thailand. I was there, mate. I've done it. Yeah. You don't know me. Unfortunately. You know, and I'm not gonna. I've got the integrity and my honesty, and I'm quite open with what I say. Yeah. But yeah, that's for where I was going at the beginning about, like, the comments. Haters are going to hate. Yeah. And I was talking to a friend today. I'm going to get him on a podcast. He's a lovely fella. And there's nothing about him. You know, he hasn't got a blue tick, and he's not a superstar. He's not a criminal. He's just a lovely fella with a great story. You know, one of resilience. One of, like, you know, a comeback story. You know, he's suffered a lot. You know, and he's a big man, and he shares honestly to me. So it takes a lot of courage, you know, for a man, because we're quite sensitive, aren't we, really? You know, we can put all that, like, yeah, talk out the side of our mouths and have to chew it. You're all right there, lad. He's a sausage, him. Keep away from those people who hate on people as well. You know, those people who go, yeah, he's a dickhead, him. I was going, you know, I was having it with some kid, and all he kept saying was, see him over there, lads, he's a dickhead, him. And I go, yeah, he is, isn't he? He's a dickhead, him. And then I'd walk away scratching my head thinking, why is he a dickhead? I don't even know him. But I'd have this misguided loyalty, right? And this misguided resentment of someone else's beef. And he transferred it onto me, and boom, he was the world's worst. And then I meet the kid, sit down, have a chat with him, and the boss, the great fellas. You know, and then I realised that I can form my own opinion. I don't need people to force their opinions on me. There's too many people forcing opinions on you. Now, I took, you know, because I was insecure, and I was quite, I had no confidence. You know, I wanted to be someone. I'd hang around with people who were someone because I felt like a nobody, and I wanted to be a someone. You know, and I'd attach myself to people who were like, yeah, all right, there, you know, talking like in back slang and everything. Negativity. Like, there's no tomorrow. And I keep away from negative vibes, keep away from negative people. So keep away from people who hate on people. You talk about others, I'm talking about you. People who are talking behind your back, let them, because you're one step ahead of them. Keep it simple. We're only here for a few short decades. Live your life. Don't be living other people's lives. I've done it far too long where I've, like, you know, and I still do, and people, like, you know, I like, get intrusively into my mind. You know, when I'm lying in bed thinking, I can't stand him, I hate him, and then I think, why? Again, it's like me drinking a poison and hoping he falls asleep and dies from it. When it's me that's suffering, I'm on the anchor. I'm the one resenting. Now, resentment is a French word for ressentir. It means to be resent, because you're resending that same feeling to your mind, and it's a cycle of ongoing, like, pain. People who listen at doors and look through keyholes search for their own pain. I've done it all day long, scrolling. Oh, he said something about me. YouTube. Hey, Bill, you're this and you're that. Am I? Sound. Jump in the queue. Go ahead, lad, get the back. There's a list of people that want to hate on me before you. Initially, in the beginning, it was tough, you know, and I'm not going to say, I don't care what people say. I do. Of course I do, it hurts. You know, I'd love to say, you know, people to go, yeah, Billy's a wonderful fella, and, you know, and he's a nice guy. Yeah, but, and I believe I am. I believe him, you know, I'm a good-hearted kid, and, you know, my agenda is clear, you know, quite transparent. And there's people out there who's, I'm not their cup of tea. Get on him, bell end, sausage, helmet, all that gear. And I'll probably be saying the same about them. So it works both ways. But yeah, I don't know where I've gone with this one. It's just a mad sort of rambling on of different stories. And I just want to say I really appreciate everyone who follows me. I do. I really do. It means a lot to me. Like, take care. Appreciate it. Ta-ra.